Hey, good morning. Scott's trying to get his video working, but I am here to kick us off for Musings episode number 318. How's everybody doing? Feel free to drop some comments in, whichever one of the platforms you're listening on. We are on YouTube. We are also on several of our Facebook pages, including my personal page, my fan page. We've got the Musings page, Bardstone page. So once Scott gets his stuff going, he'll be able to see his too. So let's see here. Scott, much better. Okay, that's a different thing there. No. So yeah. So hey, let me get us started here. Gotta get this page shared here. We are going to go with Loringer Family Chiropractic Center PC, and they are located in Belleville, Michigan, and Dexter, Michigan. Want to wish Dr. Anna a happy birthday. Her birthday was August 5th. And that's hope she had a great day. I'll be seeing her later this afternoon before I head out of town, get ready for the Chicago Fan Fest going on there in Rosemont, Illinois. I haven't been there since 2011. So if you guys are in the area, come and see us. I know a couple people are coming out already. Definitely looking forward to it. But again, Loringer Family Chiropractic, they are one of our longtime sponsors. And they take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital x-rays, orthotics by foot levelers, young women essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. Give them a call, 734-697-4244. You can visit online at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com or here at Facebook. All you gotta do is look for Loringer Family Chiropractic Center PC. Look for this little design here, this little logo here. There's a couple of little spine images there. And give them a call again, 734-697-4244. All right. So Scott must be having some technical challenges. I know how it is. Seems like it's funny how this technology works is that it's supposed to make our lives easier, but half the time we're troubleshooting it. We're going through all the support tech, things like that. It's like even the phones. I mean, there's so much power in these phones here. It cracks me up. Let's see here. Send the link. Let me send the link to Scott here real quick. He can't log in. Why is that? Copy. There we go. And paste and send. So there's that. So yeah. So now I can actually boot Scott. So we'll have some fun with that one there. So he'll be logged in here just a minute here, and then we'll do the Team Titans of Real Estate. So not sure what was going on. I could hear him just fine, just no video. So something with this camera hadn't kicked in for some reason. I do know we had to relog in. It's funny is they're always having to relog in our Facebook pages, and I think it's because Facebook kicks them out of different things. So if you're using StreamYard, it's a great product. And if you need a referral, let us know. We'll send you a referral code because then we get a little bit of a kickback that helps us pay for our annual fees that we pay for the unlimited usage to do all the streaming on the different platforms that we do. So definitely check that out. In fact, while we're waiting on Scott here, let me go to StreamYard. Oh, there he is. I'll have to put him in the thing here. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
So computer decided it needed an update.
Oh, yeah, that's happened to me a couple of times.
Yeah, it picks the worst time.
Yeah, of course.
Never when you got nothing going on. And
yeah, but you know what's cool about this is now I can actually ban you. Oh, Scott's talking too much. Hey, guess what, Scott? There he's gone. Now he's back. Now he's gone. Now he's back.
Yeah. So I'm finishing. Actually, I'm finishing up the update. So what I'll do is I'll try to sign back in on here and see if that works.
Yeah. It does that. Mine does it all the time. That's why I try to get on a little bit earlier to let my computer do its stuff and do its updates, because it seems like it always wants to. It's like, oh, hey, we got a full system update, or we're updating your driver right now, so that's why your stuff doesn't work.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, I got tied up on a phone call, and so I signed in last minute just before we started the show. Brett could hear me, but my camera wasn't sending an image. So then when I went to see why, it said update needed.
Yep. And it happens. It's funny. Stuff always wants it. It's like we don't leave our computers on. At least I don't anymore. I used to a long time ago, leave it on all the time so I could constantly jump on. But I find that it burns them out a lot faster down the road and things happen. So I always shut it down for the most part. Um, but it's just, such a pain.
Indeed.
So
Definitely
I
is.
got your Facebook page pulled up first. If you want to do the quick Team Titans bit here,
All right. You want to put it up there?
there it is.
All right. Team Titans Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though we utilize the latest in tools and technology to maximize your home buying and selling experience, we never forget at its core, it's a people business. That's right. We actually care about you. Go figure. What a weird concept in this day and age. But we do. And we don't want to take a cookie cutter approach to real estate. Why? Well, you get cookie cutter results, and everybody's situation is different and unique. And I might be able to make a switch over here. Let's see. It's loading. And we do. We, depend. Obviously, people want to get the best money possible for whatever they do, but there's other factors involved too. How fast do you need to sell a house? Do you have another house already in place that you're moving into? Do you need more time? Whatever. And so sometimes there's other things that are more important to a person, such as occupancy periods and appraisal guarantees and all those fun things. So we take all that into account and really analyze your situation, your house, what's unique about your house, how will it best market to maximize the number of buyers who come and make call our team hotline 562-232-5144. We'll take great care of you. The consultation is free, so you got nothing to lose. But I definitely recommend, if you're thinking, if you or anyone pops into mind who's having some kind of life change, whether it's getting married or divorced, having kids, upsizing, downsizing, whatever, anybody having any kind of life change in the next 6 months or less, give us a call so we can jump on it now, analyze what's going on, and help you get what you need. So 586-232-5144. All right. So
looks like the video feed is working.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, let me turn off this one then.
Yep.
All right, I'm out of the phone.
Yay.
And we're back to here. And where the sun magically, doesn't matter when it is, right when we start is always, there's this little slit and it's always in the spot to hit me in the eyes when we start.
It's like, hi, Scott, I'm back.
Oh, now I need sound out of here.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I can hear
Okay.
you. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Scott and I were talking. It's been one of those weeks where both of us have been kind of busy, and so we're going to kind of hodgepodge it a little bit today. So I did pick up a topic we'll get to in a few minutes here, Scott. I think it'll be fun. But I was picking up. I got a couple things recently. Now you mentioned you had just seen this movie like a year or so ago, Hugo.
Oh, Jill actually told me about that movie.
Yeah,
and
they came out.
I really liked it.
Yeah, through Arrow. I like this movie a lot. They came out with it's a 4K Ultra HD with all kinds of bonus stuff and things like that. I just recently got this. I haven't gone through it yet. It's got 3 discs. It's got the movie in Blu-ray, the movie in 4K, and then it's got a disc with the bonus stuff, tons of back stuff. It's based on a book. I never realized it. I seen this when it came out, and I never realized it on books. I'm gonna have to order the book and read that. But it's the premise is with a kid is in this train terminal, and he meets this guy who fixes toys, and it turns out he's the great filmmaker that did a lot of these early films in the 1900s, stuff like that. Most have been lost, but there are still some out there. One is the Launch to the Moon. That's the kind of a classic one where they fire a giant bullet with the scientists to the moon. It hits the moon in the eye and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a historical fiction. It's a real director. Actually, the story of the real director is actually fascinating. Watching that movie made me look that person up and find information out.
Yeah, I had been aware of him for many years. So of course, I studied a little bit of him, read a little bit on him in college when I was taking my film theory courses and things like that. But as I've gotten older, I wouldn't mind looking at this book because it's more of a history on the guy and Hugo and all that stuff. But I wouldn't mind reading that to get more of an insight. But yeah, the guy was way ahead of his time, even for that time with early film stuff. They were hand coloring stuff, creating a lot of fantastical fantasy sci-fi style movies that were all like anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes, something like that. Weren't very long. Definitely were not making any money. They were like a theater troupe that got into doing it. So
Yeah, they were applying a lot of theater techniques to create the special effects for film.
Yeah.
It was really neat to see those old style techniques. Even you go back to like even like the use of black and white, how they did transformations. Like, was it the werewolf movie, or I forget who it was, but no, someone turned into a witch, but they understood like certain colors will appear in certain light color lights. So
yeah,
in black and white, everything's gray. So they would put one tone of makeup on for one effect, another tone of makeup on another, and they would just simply by putting a light filter on, it would look like the person transformed into something hideous or something. And it was just simply light filters being used. It was
they did that through the early like Jekyll and Hyde stuff.
Yep.
Definitely the werewolf transformation, multiple takes, stuff like that. So it's very fascinating what they did. It was all what they call now practical effects. It wasn't CGI or computer based things like that.
Yeah.
So they had to create. So it's like for the most part, whenever you see blood and especially in the old black and white movies, it was actually chocolate sauce because it showed up better than using red.
Right.
Found red doesn't show up as well. It just comes out, kind of mixing in too much, where the chocolate sauce actually gave a different look, especially when you got makeup on the white makeup they wore a lot to enhance the features and things like that.
So. And when the scene's over, you can eat it.
Yeah, definitely. Another one I got, this one came from Australia, but it plays here in the US. They came out with a cool edition of Mad Monster Party from Rankin Bass.
Nice.
It's a fun thing. It's got all the classic monsters, things like that. It's can be a little long, slightly, and some sections boring, but it's pretty. It was all this really cool stuff like pins and things like that. So, part of my cool movie collection added to that here recently, and stuff like that because I like all my fun movies and I try to collect them physically because you never know when they're not going to be available streaming, which people are complaining about every day about. Oh, I went to watch such and such and it's not streaming. Well, guess what? It's not your collection. It's theirs.
You don't own any digital assets. It's a licensing agreement that gives you limited use as long as that licensing agreement is active. But if you read the fine print, they often reserve the right to cancel it.
Yeah.
So they can change platforms and all of a sudden that library you have is gone. So nothing beats physical copies.
Exactly. So I've been seeing this pop up a lot. Have you seen the stuff on Facebook about Adam Devine?
No.
He's blaming Marvel movies for.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
For killing comedy movies.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
actually I wanted to talk about this. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, and what I've got is on Variety, and so that way I like going through these legitimate sources here. Here's his talking on a podcast about this. I'm gonna take it back and we'll listen just to the first minute or so, and so here's this.
Created into the finish line, especially these days. It seems even harder,
dude. Especially comedies nowadays, you have to like mask it. This is why it's a big action comedy, because you really have to go like action, and then and then it's a comedy. But this it's just like it's why I was so happy to work with Sandler's company is we could just go full steam on the comedy as opposed to you watch comedies nowadays and you're like, no, this isn't a fucking comedy. You're not. Where's the jokes? Like, where's the bits?
It's bad.
Yeah.
Comedy's gotten kind of bad, huh?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah.
Movie comedy.
Yeah. There's still good shows and stuff, but like, yeah, movie comedy, it's hard. But
why?
Which, luckily, my theory is I think like Marvel ruined it. I feel like superhero movies kind of ruined comedies.
Because that's a lazy.
Here, listen to this.
Watch. You go to the theater, and you expect to watch something that costs $200 million to make. And comedy movies aren't that. So you're like, well, why would I spend the same amount of money to go watch a little comedy in the theater if I could spend the same amount of money and go see something that is worth $200 million?
Right.
Okay. So, with that said. Have you seen any of his movies?
I know I have. I can't tell you the names of them.
Yeah,
but
if you go back and watch everything I've seen him in, he's basically the same character.
Yes,
he's not funny. Yeah. He's got this new one that it was on. I think it was It's called Outlaws. That he showed it there. I watched it. It's a one watch done. It's not overly funny. And here's the thing: it's it was a Netflix movie. It had Ellen Barkin in it and Pierce Brosnan. There was things I liked about it. I thought it was funny. He was the worst part of it, really.
Yeah.
He thinks he's funny, but he does the same.
But
he's the type of comedian that it's all about. And we see this a lot of these comedies nowadays, modern comedies, last 15, 20 years, is if they act stupid, they think it's funny.
Yeah. But here's the, even outside of him though, I do think they bring up an interesting point. Why are there no good comedies now? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all genres of movies go through their phases where it becomes popular or unpopular. There was a time where comedy movies were the thing. Then Westerns were a thing, or sci-fi. The audience as a whole, there tends to be shifts. But comedy as a whole, you look at the movies that used to be made that were funny, TV shows that were funny. They're not allowed to be made now.
Sure. Yeah.
And
I mean, that's part of, we've talked about this
studios don't
before.
want to take the risk.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Comedy is changing. And even the major comedians, the older comedians, I'll talk about how, PC culture, cancel culture has really killed comedy.
Right.
But when you watch this stuff that can be funny, and it's like even this Outlaws, have you don't have Netflix anymore.
Right.
So let me share this. I can show you the trailer for this thing. In the trailer alone, just the first few minutes, you can see, the type of comedy it is. And realistically, he's not funny. Pierce Brosnan and Ellen Barkin are great in this because they're playing parents of his fiance. And it turns out they're basically thieves.
Right.
So here, let me play this real quick. Get some sound.
Now that they're coming to our wedding.
Oh, I get to meet your parents finally. Are you psyched? You're not psyched. Are you psyched at all? Is there any psych happening? Sitting on top of the world, I'm up. You haven't met this woman's parents yet? They've been off the grid the whole time we've been together. It's going down, baby, what's up? Hey! Billy and Lily McDermott. Meet my parents.
Pleasure to meet you, Neil. You're very attractive. Oh, thank you. That's not a compliment. For me, it's too much. You deserve something better than that pasty little goober.
Dad, just give him a chance.
Well, what does a bank manager do?
I manage all the security.
Is the best. Let's just pray we have a nice, chill day.
This is a robbery.
I think your parents robbed my bank.
You can't be serious.
They knew the voice activation code to get in the vault, which I'm pretty sure I told your mom about when I was wasted.
She left me roses
By the stairs.
Thank you for your cooperation, Owen.
Does the name the Ghost Bandits mean anything to you?
Most notorious bank robbers in American history.
Your parents stole $5 million from me.
I don't understand. Was Owen right?
This is the story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue. Here's what happened when they decided to cut loose.
You need $5 million in 2 days. Wouldn't hurt to have a bank manager on the team.
You think you can rob a bank?
If it's to say Parker, hell yeah. Do I look cool?
Yeah, you look like James Bond.
Which one?
5.
That's cute.
Just think of how many terrible decisions we have to make to get to this moment in time.
Who even am I right now?
One big happy family.
Now I've seen this movie.
So before you get into that,
Yeah.
Just from watching that trailer, I actually looks like something I would like.
Yeah.
I think it's a shame though. Here he is trashing like, well, we had to disguise it as an action film. Unless you're just doing a stand-up comedy show, you have to wrap a story around no matter what type of comedy you do. There has to be a story.
Yeah, and they hid so much of the fact that, they put a little bit in there to show his character stupid.
Right.
Everything he does is stupid to be funny. And realistically, it's funny with things like, oh, you look like James Bond. Which one? 5. Oh, that's a good one. That's when I laughed the most.
Yes.
And some of the action was fine. Majority of what you see there
is the funny part.
That's the best part of the whole movie. The rest of stuff with him being stupid, meeting the parents, acting dumb.
Well, and this is everything they do now.
Yeah.
It's anything involving comedy will potentially get you canceled. So now studios will only go with the safe bet. What's the safe bet? You have to put a white male who is stupid to be the butt of the jokes.
Yeah.
And that's everything now.
And this guy plays that in every single movie I've seen him in.
Which is a genius move on his part because it gets him roles.
Right. And I'm not blaming him for doing that. It gets him what he wants. But it's like, I've seen the Pitch Perfect movies. He was stupid in that.
Yeah.
He was a pain. He's annoying. And you see him in The Intern. He was annoying. Right. I was going through some of the other stuff here. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I really seen him in? Because I don't see him in a lot of stuff. He does a lot. He was a background character for the longest time, and he's done some voiceover work. But realistically, it's this: if comedy, they act like comedy is completely racist and misogynistic, but comedy can be funny if you really go look at it. And if you pay attention to even movies they always swear it can't be made again, like a Blazing Saddles, they actually deal with those issues head on.
They do.
And that's where they became funny, and that's where they were good. And that's where, I was trying to think, it's like there's just not a lot of great comedies anymore because they're not even trying to make them funny. But if you look at some of the stuff that is funny, they deal with normal issues and make it a comedic way to actually take on those issues.
Now, and then the other point that he brought up is, well, people have to choose how to spend their money, and are they going to spend it on a comedy or something that looks like 200 million? No, he's right. And I choose where my money is, but he's picking the wrong competition. As a comedy movie, I love comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to pay to go see a lame, overly safe movie where the studios are afraid to tell jokes that are going to be funny? Or do I go on TikTok for free and just follow all these comedians and I can watch them whenever I want and see a little 3-minute bit, laugh my butt off, and follow them?
Yeah. Well, it's like
interviewing him. Look who was interviewing him. Theo Von.
Mm-hmm.
Theo Von is everywhere now. That guy's making a fortune off of TikTok. I see more Theo Von without even trying to see him. But between Theo Von and the Bear guy, and they got the Us Two Bears podcast. There's like 5 people. Their podcasts have so much views between the 5 of them, and Theo Von's one of them. They all are comedians, but they're making their money off of their.
You're talking about Two Bears, One Cave, Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer.
Yeah. Their clips are hilarious from their show.
See, and that's the key is they have some great clips and they throw them out there.
So why would I pay for a lame comedy if I can watch them for free?
Right.
And that's why no one wants to pay to see him.
I think that's what it is he's not getting tons of these roles. He's probably thinking like, well, I can do better than play this stupid character.
Mm-hmm.
Which is he plays the same character in every movie, but that's the whole thing. Is like you want to do something better. First of all, right? I mean, Melissa McCarthy, a lot of her movies she does, I don't find them funny. I really don't. Some people love them. I think they're just okay. But I give her and her husband credit. Is they know what they like as comedy. They just do that comedy, and it's fine. Yeah. It's not for everybody, just like everything. So
I will say the one Melissa McCarthy I think I did like was with Jason Bateman, where she steals his identity.
Oh yeah. That one a lot of people seem to reference.
That one I did laugh a lot at. I did like, but I like Jason Bateman.
Yeah, so. And that's the thing. She's okay. I liked her in different things. I thought The Heat was fine. That was what she did with Sandra Bullock. She got known from Bridesmaids. The problem with Bridesmaids, I thought, was 1, it was a half hour too long, and 2 was they tried to make all the women do all this gross out humor, and it was
just Hangover.
Funny. Yeah,
it was a remake of Hangover, but with girls.
And they tried to do all this gross out humor in that. Spy, okay, things like that. But a lot of stuff she's doing now is her and her husband have created their own production company, and they do a ton of their own movies. And a couple of things on Netflix have been fine. Funny. There's a superhero one she did I thought was funny. A lot of them aren't though repeat stuff. It's like I watched Big Trouble in Little China the other day. That one you could kind of consider an action comedy in a lot of ways, with a mix of sci-fi fantasy. Right. It holds up to this day because it was good writing. It's good storytelling, and good storytelling is where the humor comes in. I find that the last 20 years really started, and this isn't like a blame or anything like that, but it started with, where like Seth Rogen and all them came from. They try to do forced comedy instead of just be funny. When they're funnier when it's the situation just kind of happens and they're playing it straight and something funny happens. When they're kind of trying to make it sound like you're telling a joke or being funny, it doesn't come across as funny, at least to me. I know people love it, but I just personally don't, because I grew up watching great classic comedies, and most of them are still actually funny and hold up.
Yeah. But like, look at a genre like TikTok has been huge for comedy.
Yes.
And Matt Rife, great example. Matt Rife has become like this mega star lately, but it's just from his TikTok videos. It was because of COVID. He started posting his content on there, and people really loved his crowd work and how he interacted with people. But what's interesting is all these people who are blowing up, they're not doing safe comedy.
Yeah.
They're being themselves, interacting with people. They'll tell jokes about the differences between races. And it's all stuff that if a studio did, they probably would have protests. They would probably have people demanding it be shut down. So TikTok is an outlet for that.
Yeah, what I see like with you got like a Matt Rife, and I see him a lot. I don't even have TikTok anymore, and I see him up on Instagram and else, because the TikTok stuff's all getting shared over on Instagram and Reels and things like that. And he's funny. And the thing is, he's got great, like I said, great crowd work. So he knows how to interact with the crowd. He knows how to handle hecklers and turn it right back on them.
Right.
So he's, for a young guy, he's really way ahead of his game. But what I've noticed with him and several other comedians is they're not going the full attack mean comedy, but they're going back to people like a Don Rickles. They're definitely telling rawer stories. They're throwing in a little Red Fox, a little of these classic blue comedians that are way back that had that you couldn't listen to on anything else. But yeah, when you got Burt
watch classic Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Pryor. Yeah, definitely.
People know, our age group, we knew him through movies like The Toy and stuff where we think of him that way. Then you finally get old enough and you hear their old stuff and you're like, what?
Oh, we had HBO. And so as a young teen, I saw his early specials. And so I knew who he was. And he was funny and I liked it.
Right.
It was hilarious. But it's like all this. And they, I haven't seen a full stand-up from Matt Rife. I see these little bits, little snippets.
Yeah,
they're funny. He brings up stuff. I like when the women, especially the older women that want to hit on the younger guy, and he flips that around and has fun with him on that. And and he'll ask questions. And that's what I've noticed. All these comedians will start asking questions, and even women. I watched one. I was flipping through the channels last night when I got home, and came across there's a special on one of the channels. It was a comedic special, and it was I only caught the one set, and it was like women in comedy, and she's an older woman. I think she was like 60 or something like that, and she's got an older son. She's of course telling stories about her son and personal stories, like. But she's funny. I mean, it's hilarious. Right. It's like she mentions about he's young, talking about I haven't done this, sexual stuff and things. Then he gets older, goes to college, moves back home. He's in his 20s. And, what if I want to bring a girl home? Okay, that's fine. She goes, I'm going to mess with them, so she, oh yeah, your girlfriend goes over, yeah, just stay here. No reason to go home, and she's a New Yorker. She's like, and they're from Brooklyn because all of them are from Brooklyn, it goes, stupid jokes like that. And then she goes, and I waited about 2 hours. And then I went in there, you got to move her ass up and down. Like he just, stuff like that. That was funny. Very dirty, but very funny. And that's where I think that the movie comedies are, they're afraid. I mean, they're all afraid to be canceled, but the stand-up comedian is like they're starting to come back around again. Where a few years ago they went safe, and now they're all like, "Screw it, we're going to be a little raw."
Well, then on top of that, it's almost like with comic books. Bart's done publishing the rocks. Just throwing that out there, a little subliminal messaging. Yeah. No, but the difference between Marvel and DC, the big names like that, they're boring. They're boring.
They have been for a long time.
They've been for a long time. Why? Because they become so big, they're afraid.
Yeah.
And we live in a global marketplace for places like movies or comic books, things like that. So not only do the studios have to be ultra safe because they're afraid of the wokeism coming after them, But then if they say something too wrong, China won't carry them. Thailand won't carry them. Like all these other countries, India might ban them. So they're not just trying to be safe here domestically. They're afraid of offending some sensibility overseas. So everything becomes ultra sterilized and boiled down to just a bland boiled chicken taste.
Well, see, and that's where they when they allow something to come out that they're like, okay, we don't care if China sees it. It's a U.S. Europe release, things like that. A lot of times they end up being better because when they start worrying about that, then it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
on how
comedy isn't universal.
Yeah,
it is and it isn't. There are cultural aspects to comedy that something will be funny one place but not somewhere else. Like British comedy, a lot of British comedy, especially in the 70s and 80s, it was a certain taste you had to have to enjoy British comedy. It's a drier, different comedy than American, and nothing wrong with that. But know your audience when you're producing it. Whereas when you get to independent companies, whether it's Bardstone Publishing, comic books, or independent filmmakers, they're not trying to please the world. They're trying to please their base.
Yeah.
And so they're making something that's tailored, custom made for that base to really love, action wise or comedy wise or whatever it is, instead of this bland boiled chicken taste that nobody wants.
Right.
And then to cry about it like, oh, nobody's paying for this. Well, yeah, because I can go for free on my phone and watch it for free. So why pay?
Yeah, and that's the thing. And if you look at a lot of comedies, a lot of the major live action comedies don't really break the list. I was looking through here. I pulled up a wiki page. It's got the top by year comedies. This year, of course, is Barbie. It's already grossed over $1 billion,
which is interesting because I don't think I even viewed that as a comedy.
Well, and that's how they classify it. So, and then last year was the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Well, there wasn't really much competition last year, so yeah, people saw that, I guess. But that was worldwide gross. I think it got more release over a season here. 2021 was a movie called Hi Mom. I never saw that. Oh, it's a Chinese movie. That's why. And then you go back. So Bad Boys for Life, Toy Story, Incredibles 2, Despicable Me 3, Secret Life of Pets, Inside Out, Lego Movie. So a lot of these were the animated films going back the last 10, 15 years prior. 2009, it had The Hangover. Was the number one comedy that year at $469 million. Previous to that was the Mamma Mia movie, which is based on the stage musical. And then you get it's the Shrek movies the next couple of years. Bruce Almighty, 2003. I mean, and then My Big Fat Greek Wedding in 2002. So I mean,
they have a sequel to Big Fat Greek Wedding coming
out
too.
I'm looking forward to that. I like those movies.
Yeah, so that might be the one true comedy coming out next.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I like her comedies. In fact, I watched the Big Fat Greek Wedding last night because I got home, just wanted something on while I was doing dinner and getting everything ready. And I was like, oh, this is easy. If I don't care to watch it, I can turn it on because I've seen it before. And I end up always kind of just watch it because it's funny. It's great situational comedy in terms of a movie. I love the lines from the aunt. The aunt's the best one. She's also the one that's in Evil, plays the nun, Aunt Tula, and she's got I think some of the best lines. She finds out, oh, what do you mean he don't eat no meat? You don't meat? What is it? That's okay. I make you lamb. I mean, it's just completely doesn't get what her delivery is perfect. And that's the key. It's like, it doesn't have to be gross out. It doesn't have to be acting stupid. It's just people being people. So and that's where I think they're missing on that. Go ahead.
Here's a list from IMDb. The most hilarious movies since 2000 for comedies.
Yeah.
So Stuber is number 2.
The hell is that?
Batista's in it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm already suspect of this list. If Stuber,
well, that's because it says by. See, there it says by someone. It's not a IMDb list. It's someone's personal list.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Whoever this is bad. Shazam, I enjoyed that, but I consider that more superhero. But that's the thing. You have to.
There was great comedy in that, though.
There was great comedy, and a lot of comedy films are blends. A lot of all things, even like something that's more of an action film, like Marvel, they'll put comedy in it, but it's meant to be more of a action, but vice versa. Is this that guy there when first we met?
Is that Adam Devine?
Yes,
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, Cock Blockers. Game Night. I do enjoy these movies that Jason Bateman does. Game Night, Horrible Bosses. And then one similar. I don't think Bateman was in it, but what was it? We're the Millers.
We're the Millers is probably one of the better comedies in the last 20 years.
I agree.
It's
laughed
funny,
so hard at that.
and it's a true comedy. It holds up.
Mhm.
It's got the situation. You set up the character. I think the only thing we talked about several weeks ago when I saw it again, I hadn't seen it in a while. The only thing that doesn't hold up is the fact that he's selling weed in Denver, and weed's legal in Denver now. So the premise doesn't hold up, but the entirety of the movie does as a whole with the comedy, because he was funny. You know, you got the two kids. Yes, this one that plays the son, the fake son. Yeah, he acts a little stupid, but the stupidity is more as a natural character person and not doing completely stupid things. He's actually just he's a teenage kid that doesn't know any better.
He's not stupid just simply for the fact that he's a male.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And most of the stuff he's doing that's dumb is because he's never had any life experience, and that's what's coming out. So. Oh yeah, We're Still the Millers is coming out next year. I hope it's going to be good. I hope they ramp it up even more, because Jennifer Aniston, who's done quite a few comedies over the years, I think it's her best thing she's ever done.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
they got Jumanji. Now Jumanji, I consider more of an action film with comedy in it.
Yeah, there's comedic stuff, but yeah.
But then you go to Thor Ragnarok. I would argue Thor Ragnarok qualifies as probably equal comedy and action, but I loved how it was done.
Yeah,
whereas
and it was a lot
Thor
of
Love and Thunder went too far comedy and ruined it.
Oh yeah, see that shows it. They took that comedic stuff they do in a lot of these movies, and we're gonna make a full stupid comedy, and everybody got dumb.
Right. Let's see the other woman. I don't know these ones.
The Latin Lover one. I've seen the trailer for that. I haven't seen that one.
There we go. Harold and Kumar Christmas.
That actually wasn't bad. It was funny.
I didn't see that one. Actually. Yeah. Was that the White Castle one, Harold and Kumar?
No, the first one was actually called Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Go to White Castle. Okay.
Yeah, this one here is now it's kind of like they're growing up a little bit, and I think Harold's getting married or something like that, or is like first. Yeah, he was married, and it's his first family Christmas with his in-laws and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a national vacation Christmas is about the best way to compare it to.
Now, going in style, I did like the trailer. I never saw it, but it was a good movie. Something I would like.
And that was a good comedy because, again, here's your situation. You set it up. They're not acting stupid. They're just the comedic stuff comes with the actions and things like that. The campaign. I don't care for that because I don't care for either one of those guys as much.
Yeah, same here.
Chips, I thought would look stupid, so I never saw that.
I saw Chips. It was not good.
Well, the trailer took them from being actually real cops and doing right things to being. That's why I don't like the Chips or the Starsky and Hutch movies. You know, when they remake those classic shows.
Yeah, it was borderline. What's that TV show that the one?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Reno 911.
Yeah, to me, it was just Reno 911 with the Chips label.
Well, that's what it was. That's what it looked like, and that's why I never liked it. They take these 70s classic TV series, they try to make them funny, but they make everybody in them stupid.
Right.
And that to me is not funny. And when the more stupid you make these people doing things, it's if you go back to classic comedy when people would say, oh, he's kind of acting stupid, they're really not stupid. They're smart in the way they're coming about stuff, and they do some things that may not be the best thing, but they're not intentionally acting stupid to be funny.
All right. You got the Dictator on here. Now I gotta say, for me, Sacha Baron Cohen just isn't my cup of tea. The Borat
the Borat Dictator, stuff like that, I don't care for.
As a little bit.
Now back to
I wouldn't mind.
Now back to this. And Hugo, he was great playing the station guard or policeman.
He's a great actor.
Yes.
He was in the running to be Freddie Mercury. He had his own version of a Queen movie.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up choosing the version they went with, but he had his own version, and he was going to play Freddie Mercury, and I think he would have done a really good job.
He's not a bad actor. I just don't care for some of his humor and his directs of like
it's
the Dictator,
too over the top for
Borat,
me.
and things like that. I never cared for that. So
I'm more uncomfortable watching his comedies than laughing.
And sometimes I think it's what he's going for. In that is he wants to be uncomfortable more than laughing.
Yeah.
And I just want to laugh. It's like because a lot of his stuff is like he's trying to be. He puts it in real life. Same thing with like the Jackass movies. They did that one, the grandpa one from what's his name, Johnny Knoxville, where he dressed up as an old man.
Yeah.
that one actually is one of the first films I saw in the theater when it came out. Hadn't seen a good comedy in a couple of years. I actually laughed out loud in the theater at several scenes. It was hilarious. He's got to see him and the kid are talking in the restaurant, and the kid farts, and then he goes, "Oh, here's one," and he had it set up a rig, and it shot crap right up the side of the wall. And it's gross, but at the same time, it was actually funny the way they did it.
Yeah. See, for me, I can't laugh at that because I would hate to be one of those bystanders who are experiencing it. So I'm like too empathetic towards the bystanders. I think.
I guess
because
I'm
just
not,
like, this is awful.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I laughed at that, and then another scene in there, ends up in a strip club, but it's an African American strip club. And so he decides he's going to dance, and he has a fake set of testicles that are like yay long, and they come right out of his shorts. And he's dancing, and they're all like, "What the?" and stuff like that. And getting the reactions from people is really what made it funny because he's playing it straight. He's not trying to be funny. He's just playing an old man.
Right.
And you don't know it's him until they show him in the credits doing like the reveals and things like that. So
we'll just get through the top 20 on this list. Let's see. War Dogs. I didn't consider that a comedy. I mean, there were funny parts.
Yeah.
But I didn't really consider that a comedy. Step Brothers, just like that. Will Ferrell he goes too far with his characters for my taste.
Yeah. Outside of Elf, I do like Step Brothers enough where I won't necessarily go seeking it out too much.
Yeah.
But if I happen to see it on, sometimes I'll watch it because there was funny bits. But they're basically two old, middle-aged guys playing middle-aged guys who are still teenagers. Yeah. And it made some of that funny. And then the ending had a decent ending in that, but it's it's not a great comedy. I definitely would not be top 20 in my list of anything. So
I think Will Ferrell is funny in 5-minute segments. 2 hours, it usually gets old on me.
Well, he plays the same character all the time. Again, most of the stuff he does. And when he plays something different, he's great. Like when he did Elf, playing that was good. There was one
I did like him in the Other Guys. Yeah. But it was so over the top different from what he's done. I don't know. And I think Mark Wahlberg was a good offset for him.
Well, and him and Mark Wahlberg actually play off each other pretty well because they were also in the Daddy's Home movies.
Those were good. I'm surprised those aren't on this list.
The first Daddy's Home, I still don't really care for. The second one
is perfect.
It was actually a much better movie. It was really good. He's okay in Old School, but that's a group film. He wasn't the star of that. I agree with that. I like him in little bits here and there. Trying to find the name of the movie. Stranger Than Fiction. I thought he was really good in because he's not playing. It's not a comedy movie. It's actually a weird sci-fi-ish type movie. Yeah. And he was really good in that because he played it straight.
Right.
And when he plays a film straight, I think he can be really good. Again, he can be a really good actor.
Yep.
But if you go through almost all the other films he's done, he's kind of playing the same type of character all the time. Right. And it just gets old, and things like that. Even people go, well, you don't like Anchorman? It's like small doses.
Anchorman has great bits.
Yeah.
Like there are portions that are legendary. They're going to live on, beyond the movie. But as a whole, I could pass on watching the whole movie.
Yeah.
Central Intelligence. This is a good example of too much in totality. Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson are great together, but they're doing it too much now, and it's getting old.
Yeah.
Less would have been more. Loved them, and they pair up really well together. But now it's just like getting old. Too many.
Well, I think that's why we haven't seen too much of them coming out together. I think they realize that, and of course, The Rock's got all his projects he wants to do, and Chris Hart has, or Kevin Hart has his stuff, but it's, but yeah, they need to not be together too much, but they do pair well.
They pair very
I think
well.
the only thing that would have been great to see, and we may still see it, is if they did do a remake of Twins.
Yes, that would work.
It would be fun in that, and I think it'd be fun to do it as a sequel to the original and still have Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger pop in.
I heard that was originally proposed.
Yeah,
that they would come back, and although the real casting that needs to be done is Danny DeVito in a live action Jetsons as Mr. Spacely.
That would be good. He could
That had to be designed off of it. That had to be.
Well, it couldn't have been because it came out in 1961 and he didn't get Taxi until 1975.
You're right. You're
and
right.
he didn't start acting until like the late 60s doing stage work. So he was a kid.
He was
when
born
came
for
out.
that role.
He was.
All right, last two. You got Ted. Ted was funny.
I like both Ted movies. Ted 1, I think, was the funnier of the two, but Ted 2 was funny. And I liked a bit with Ted 2 that works for, I think, me on a personal level is the fact they go to the Comic-Con. They go to New York Comic-Con and stuff like that. But really what makes Ted funny is not just Wahlberg and then Seth MacFarlane doing Ted. It's Giovanni Ribisi, who always plays the one trying to get Ted. He plays that so well. He plays that again, this is where he's playing a great character. And it's that ick feel, you get that little like, oh God, he's just creepy feeling, but it works through the whole thing. It's like when they're at the Comic-Con and they're trying to figure out which one he is as a turtle. So they start singing that song and he starts doing that dance he does. So
yeah. And then the last one is Keanu. Didn't see it. So no idea.
I didn't see that one either. I mean, scrolling down a little bit there, a few others you have, Hangover. I've never been a big Hangover fan. It's okay. The Brothers Grimsby, I actually liked that one. That was a what's his name? The dictator
Sacha
guy.
Baron Cohen.
That one is pretty good. It's been
With
a while
Mark
since I've
Strong.
seen it.
Wow. I can't picture Mark Strong doing comedy.
He plays the straight man, and it works. And even Sacha Baron Cohen's not playing a comedic character.
Right.
They're playing it straight, and the comedic comes out of it. So it worked. I would say if you get a chance, check it out. It wasn't bad. Bad Teacher, I thought was just okay. I like the Big Fat Greek Wedding movie. I mentioned that earlier. That's the second one. Superbad. Initially, I was like, it was funny. Now, if I try to watch it, I just have trouble. It's too much. It's too long anymore. It's like I go back rewatch. It's not rewatchability's not there. Definitely don't think Bridesmaid was ever funny.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's Daddy's Home.
Yeah.
That was. I didn't see it way back when, but I was first exposed to Daddy's Home 2. I think 2 years ago. Really enjoyed it. It was and John Cena was hilarious in it too as the stepdad.
Yeah,
all the roles were so well done.
Yeah, I watched the first one and didn't care for it, and then I watched the second one on a flight when there's really nothing to watch a couple years ago, and I laughed. I was like, okay, I'll put it on. I was planning on sleeping, and I actually laughed. The Intern, I would never consider that a comedy.
Right.
It's not even really a drama or anything, but it's just something. It actually was a really good movie. I like that one. And then
Cozy Stupid Love.
Oh, the American Pie movies, American Reunion.
Oh,
those were funny. And they're actually supposed to do a new one.
Really? I can't imagine them doing that now. I would imagine this would be one of those movies canceled.
Well, that's what I'm going to be interested to see is it's supposed to be the daughter, I believe, of the main guy and Allison Hannigan is my understanding.
Okay.
And so now they're of high school age now, and it's been 20 something years since, he made it with a pie. And The Duff wasn't a bad movie. That was decently funny. Get Him to the Greek was just, again, being a stupid comedy, not funny. Didn't see Get Hard. That's My Boy. Again, it's okay, but it's not really fun to rewatch. The Wedding Ringer wasn't bad. I did like Zack and Miri. But
see, my problem there is Seth Rogen he just annoys me now. He's kind of the same dumb character. He's just this.
Well, that's what, if you looked at that right there, Zack and Miri, Knocked Up. Even looked at when he did a couple years ago with Charlize Theron, where he played the reporter and she's the running for president. He's kind of playing the same character in a lot of those.
Wedding Crashers, I liked. That
was a good
laugh.
Well, yeah, and those guys are funny together. So
they are.
And then what was the other one? It was the internship or something like that, where they try to get a job at Google. That was a good one.
Oh yeah.
So, and there's your Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay. Hot Fuzz was good.
Oh, then you get into the scary movies. Those are funny. They were spoofs. They were parody movies.
Again, early 2000s. School of Rock had good comedic bits into it. It was funny. American Pie 2, So, I mean, there is some, he's got some decent stuff on this list, but really the best stuff goes back almost 20 years.
Right. I think the studios are just too afraid.
I think that's why you get like an Adam Sandler. I think it's why he made the Netflix deal. Right. He could now go on there for him, though, I think a lot of his movies now are about, let's make this movie about a blended family because I want to go take my family to Africa. Right. And the movie was funny. I've seen it a couple times. It was good. The Rush Hour movies were funny. They've threatened to make another one, but
did you say they threatened?
Yeah, that's what I call it anymore. If they have made it, it's just a threat. Euro Trip was classic. So was Road Trip. I think Euro Trip holds up better than Road Trip, though.
Here
Comes the boom. I just watched that about 6 months ago again, and I like that one. I like Kevin James. I think he's funny.
Yeah, he really surprised me in that one. What was it called? Not Megan, Heather. I forget, but where he plays like the Nazi, like serial killer, kidnapper or something.
Was that the Becky one?
Becky. It was Becky. That's it. Yeah, that was just amazing.
Wrath of Becky or something like that was a sequel to the film Becky. Yeah.
That was amazing how you never imagined him doing a role like that. And he did it. He played it really well.
And that's the smart thing to get away from the Adam Sandler look if he wants to be something else. You know, it's so. And again, I'm looking at that list there, and it's someone's personal list, and there's some funny ones on it, some I don't care for. Never a big fan of the Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers comedy stuff. I just didn't find them very funny. Hot Chick was okay once.
Yeah.
17 again. That's a Freaky
that one
Friday.
I enjoyed. Yeah, it's a Freaky Friday movie, just with Zach. Yeah, it's the male version of Freaky Friday.
Yeah,
I thought that was cute. Those kind of movies, even the Freaky Friday and stuff.
Now, The Rocker I found funny. That was with Rainn Wilson.
Oh my God, Dwight.
And that was funny. He's a drummer. I was in this band that gets kicked out right before they hit it big. And and he helps his nephew and their friends. And I had Josh
this
Gad
is a
in it,
travesty. How do you have We're the Millers at 81?
That's because he's a moron.
This is just
this movie. We're the Millers on his list probably should be like in the top 5 easily,
at least top 10.
Yeah,
I mean, he might be a little
unless he's just listing movies and it's not. I mean, he claims they're in order, but things like that. But it's a good movie, and hopefully the sequel holds up. So
might as well make it to 100.
Yeah, there's the Bad Grandpa one I talked about.
Yeah.
Super. I wouldn't consider it a comedy. It was really a superhero movie that was over the top violent.
Right. It was kind of like Kick-Ass.
Yeah, and it was meant to be kind of almost a parody, I think, of Kick-Ass in some ways.
The Goon.
Yeah, it was all right. Right along.
About Last Night. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Now, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I thought was funny. It was. I mean, of course, you have to sit through. Jason, whatever his name is, that stars in it. He's got Siegel. He's got a schlong twice. So he goes, I have a big one for camera. It's like, okay, great.
The 21 Jump Street movies, I didn't care for those.
Again, you're taking an older 70s, 80s type thing, trying to remake it and make it funny. And to me, it never holds up. Me, Myself, and Irene, classic comedy. That one really fits in. You get the Jekyll and Hyde bit in a comedic format worked out in that movie.
What about Something About Mary? Is that in the 90s or was that?
That was in the 90s. 97.
Oh, that's why it's not on this list. Okay.
That was a good one. Grandma's Boy was funny. That one was again under the radar. Nobody really saw it. There's Blended I mentioned.
And there's the top 100.
Yeah, but half his movies I would say are not funny, and about a quarter of them are what I wouldn't even consider comedies. They just have comedic bits in them.
Yeah.
So
well, there you go. Turned into a comedy episode.
Yeah.
Wow. Star Trek next week.
Wow. Yeah, we did go over. Sorry. What? Now you saw.
We'll cover it really quick.
Yeah, you saw the episode, right?
Yeah. So for me, I enjoyed it. It was different. I wouldn't want Star Trek to do this every week.
No. But
for a standalone, I thought they did very good.
Yeah, as a one-time thing, I thought it was perfect.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, this was a musical episode for Strange New Worlds, but they did it in a way that made sense. They added science to it, and the best though.
Klingons, right?
They're like a disco band singing.
No, they're a '90s boy band.
Yeah, that was it.
It starts off they're like, what is this? They're all hard Klingon. Also, they start singing. What is it? Then they stand up to do like dances and stuff like that.
And then even the lights are going.
Yeah.
And I love how they knew when things were coming, when the singing was about to erupt, because all of a sudden it's like, where's that music coming from?
Yeah. And they commented on it. So it was, that's what was funny, was that they did comment on that here. Let me see. I think they had see if there's videos here, because it was. Well, here's a picture anyway. So
the Klingons, I out loud laughed when that happened.
Oh, I did too. I completely out loud. But there's the start of it.
Yeah.
And I like that the Klingon they use. He reminds me of the Christopher Lloyd one from the movies.
I part of me wondered if he was supposed to be him.
I don't know. It could be. So, yeah, let me pull that down. And then I was trying to see they have like the musical finale, the last few minutes online here.
Do they?
Yeah.
Did you notice the opening?
So,
Did you watch the intro? They did
oh
acapella.
Yeah, it was great.
Was that Pentatonics? I wondered if they hired Pentatonics for it.
I don't know. I didn't see a credit run on that, so I'm gonna see it. I'm not gonna do the whole finale. I'm gonna try to get to just to the Klingon part. Just waiting for the stupid ad. I got to watch ads with Captain America or Captain Marvel. She's in all those Nissan, I think is how they pronounce it for that movie that's coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I thought that there it is. There we go. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah. Klingons, hoorah!
Why have you?
Why you only calling us when you got your dramas? Why are these days when we're paying you?
Why are you always calling?
Gonna draw your last breath at the end of my plan. Your eternal torture is every Klingon dream. You know what I
calling us without your drama?
That was
wait, play Pike's reaction. I love this part.
Okay. Yeah, it basically when people watch this is the big finale. They really have to do this big finale to kind of get through everything, and it was funny. I liked it. I thought that I liked that they referenced the fact that they're saying how ridiculous it is. Why are they doing this? I've seen complaints online how stupid an episode was. I was like, but the premise was set up. They set up everything perfectly. It wasn't we're just going to do a musical,
right?
I think it was Buffy the Vampire Slayer did one called Once with Feeling, and it was just a musical episode. I think there was something they set up to make them all do it, but it wasn't as good as this in terms of the premise.
Yeah,
but the Klingons were just hilarious. it's that whole dancing. They gets the higher pitched voice, and
now there is a part in this too that ties into the original series and movies, which is interesting. So for people who've watched, there was a alternate timeline Kirk that was revealed a few episodes back, and I'm forgetting the security officer's name, but she fell in love with that version of Kirk, and she kind of has a talk with this version of Kirk, and he reveals that he has somebody named Carol, and that she's pregnant with his future son. And when you watch Star Trek the movies, Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock, we meet that son in the movie. So they are keeping in mind that, hey, this does exist in the canon for Kirk.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Cool.
That's the second time this season I've recognized stuff like that from the movies, where they're really doing little bits like that. I mean, that right there was a great setup for what was it? Star Trek Search for Spock and all that.
Yeah.
And that the guy that played the Klingon was Bruce Horak. He played in the first season, he played Hemmer in the first season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And in real life, isn't that actor actually blind?
I believe so.
I believe he's really blind, and Hemmer was a life form that didn't use sight.
Yeah. So he was he was one of the Klingons, or he may have been the main one, but it was funny. I liked it. It's one of those episodes I'm not going to constantly want to watch, but I definitely want to watch it again down the road, just because I laughed so much that episode, because it had, again, good comedy dealing with people. So.
Mm-hmm. But, and I guess they're going to sell the soundtrack too of this episode.
Oh, okay.
Of the musical episode. Let's see. You can enjoy the music here on Earth on August 4th. The Subspace Rhapsody official cast recording will be available to purchase, which includes the following track. So they have all the tracks lit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They'll have 11 tracks on it. So it's past August 4th or 5th. So it's available now, I guess, if you want to look for it.
Yeah, they have it. Looks like it's streaming too, like on Spotify. So that's kind of cool. I mean, that's something I was listening on the radio. They were talking about on Sirius when people on the channel talking about the different TV series that used to come out with soundtracks, kind of like Glee and a few others.
Yeah.
If you want girls did that, I guess.
If you want the best Star Trek soundtrack, look up Leonard Nimoy. He has an album that he came out with. He does all the songs as Spock. So he has Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Earth, and other things. I have the album at home. There's one called It's Highly Illogical or something like that.
Yeah,
they're really good, but he does them as Spock. So and on the cover, it's Leonard Nimoy as Spock holding the Starship Enterprise model, I believe. And then the second one, which isn't done as Kirk, but is William Shatner's classic album he put out way back when. So both of those, if you're a Star Trek fan, you have to get those.
Well, Shatner's had a couple albums out now. But yeah, they have the Spaced Out, the best of Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner. That's available on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
And then you have Vintage Original Leonard Nimoy Shatner Record Collection. And then they have the Mr. Spock's Music from Outer Space. Yeah, and the cover is him holding the Enterprise. Yeah,
that's the one. I'm telling you, it's priceless because it's him as Spock.
Yeah, and he had a few other albums and stuff like that he put out. He, I mean, Leonard Nimoy was an interesting person outside of the characters he played. So
some of his collections we can't talk about on the air.
No. It was a semi-family friendly show.
Yes.
So, we had some F-bombs today and things like that. So, hey, this weekend I'll be at Chicago for the Fan Expo Chicago in Rosemont. We'll be at, I believe, Artist Alley A28 under Bardstone. Kevin and I will be there. We have all the great comics. We have like the Crimson Shadows. We have the Poe Macabre, Boomtown Scabs, Adventures of Carl, Expendables, some selection of artwork, things like that. So come on out and see us if you guys are in the area. There at Rosemont. My first time since 2011 being there. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, if it goes well, we may look at doing it again in the future. And definitely excited to be back because it's been a long time. And I know I'll get to see our good friend Janice. She said I believe her and Roy are coming out. At least Janice coming out for sure. And looking forward to catching up with Janice as she moved to Chicago and we don't get to see her anymore. So
I know.
But hey, until next time, we'll see you all later.